Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 381. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Too Fresh Crash. My voice ain't there for it, Crash. I'm sorry, it ain't quite there right now. I
It's
do
okay.
apologize. Hello, Crash. How are you?
I'm doing good. A little sad. Me and Matt recorded yesterday. Recorded a podcast without Fix because Fix was busy and he hasn't been feeling good, and it got ruined, and the podcast no longer exists.
So, what does that tell you, boys? God is
The
with
Fix
me.
is fired for not preparing us.
God is with me, and he decided that this week he was like, absolutely not. You can have no break, sir. This podcast doesn't happen without you. Let's just get rid of Matt P. And look where we are. Look where we are.
Interesting.
I mean, I think
I'm not one to argue with God out here. So.
Exactly. Trust me. Yeah, I spoke to him personally. I think that's what he meant. That's what he meant. Yeah. Unfortunately, you guys recorded a whole. I was like, well, Matt was the one. Matt was like, "Yo, can you do this time? No. Can you do that time? No." Matt tried to make it work to the best of his ability, and I was just like, "I'm sick. I can't be doing it right now." So I was like, "Do you know what? Why don't you guys just go do the podcast without me?" And yeah, the file corrupts. So no podcast with just Matt and Crash this week. We've got to re-record it all over again. And that is what you're getting right here. If you didn't know, this is My Xbox and Me, our weekly Xbox podcast. You get it early over on patreon.com/MCFixer. Also, you can find us on all podcast services. Again, I did say it earlier, but we'll say it again. I'm sick. I do apologize. My voice probably sounds a little bit more raspier than usual. So bear with us with that. Probably going to be a lot of muting midway through sentences because I'm coughing. It's what it is. You have to get a show every week. This is the show you're getting this week. I'm trying my hardest. Shout out to our Patreon producers, Aaron Guard and FNH Paul, keeping the show on the road. Topic of the show this week, Crash. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 crosses 1 billion in sales. 1 billion in sales, faster than any game in any game franchise. Sorry, words are hard this week. After already securing the biggest opening weekend in franchise, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has crossed another milestone, becoming the fastest Call of Duty game to cross. I got gross and cross mixed up there. 1 billion sold mark. In a press release on Business Wire, it says Modern Warfare 2 crossed 1 billion in worldwide sales in its first 10 days, dating back to the launch of October 28th, 2022. The previous franchise best was in 2012 with Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which took 15 days to hit the 1 billion mark. Congratulations to Call of Duty.
Absolutely. Did you know that Call of Duty's dying? Have you heard that? Yes.
The meta's not there anymore, Crash. People hate the game because there's no slide cancelling. It's like Siege, I keep being told, aiming down sights. Game sucks. It sucks.
Horrible
It's
game.
not worth playing.
Yeah.
So give me 2 seconds, Crash. I'm just gonna go to Twitch real quick because that's my metric for everything. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna pull this up. Oh, look at that!
I'm sure it's at the bottom of the list.
No. Third on the list. 62,000 people watching it right now.
Whoa.
Wild.
It's in the process of dying. Don't worry about it. Next week, numbers won't be there.
You're right. Just there's one person with 6.7k viewers. There's another person with 5.1. Lord have mercy on my soul. I wish I could just reach 100. But yeah, Call of Duty. People like it. People are enjoying it. Who would have thunk it, eh? Who would have thunk it? Have you played it yet? You still haven't, right?
I have not played it. No.
I'm pretty sure in my inbox I have a code for you. So don't buy it. I'll give it to you today. Let's sort that out today, okay? Because I thought about it the other day when I was sick. I was like, wow, would be nice if I gave Crash that code that I had pretty much reached out for him to get. So yeah, I should probably give you that. This is obviously huge. I think this is obviously not the only. I don't actually believe it's the only, but I do believe it's obviously one of the big proponents of why Xbox want to buy Activision. It still shocks me that Activision after this are still they've not gone. Well, that bad PR, it's kind of gone now. It isn't gone, by the way. Let's make that very clear. It isn't gone, but they haven't gone, we're not quite in the mud how he was. we did just generate 1 billion. Maybe we just, maybe. But
Step back from the deal. Maybe they hit up the European commissions to be like, hey, maybe side with Sony on this one and stop the deal.
Maybe do us a favor and just kill this one off for us, all right? Maybe just kill this one off. No, this is huge news.
Yeah.
And this Call of Duty is only going to get bigger. Warzone's out this week coming, I believe. Is it this week or maybe next week?
Yeah, in like 3 days. Yeah.
Like when that drops as well, it's going to be crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm interested to see what you think of this year's game. I know you played the beta and enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the beta. Yeah.
I mean, I am interested to see what you think. I haven't played the story mode yet either.
Got it.
But I might play that. Ooh. I've still got so much to do. I'm so busy. I'm like, I was literally thinking, oh God, the voice is gone. You hear it there? Do you hear the voice go there? It's like, I was literally working out the games I'm going to play on Christmas break. And I was like, Call of Duty story mode. That would be the perfect game for me to play with. And then I was like, how do I play that on a Steam Deck? It's not a Steam game.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's on bloody Battle.net.
Oh, yeah. It's not available on Steam at all.
I think there's a way to get Battle.net on there, but it's one of those things you got to jump through a bunch of hoops, and I'm like, come on.
Might have to do it.
Maybe.
You could always, can you stream it through Xbox? Does Xbox xCloud stream that or no?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. But that would probably be terrible anyway, to stream it through and nah. I ain't got time for all that. Are you surprised by these numbers at all?
No. Oh, absolutely not. Call of Duty always sells gangbusters. I feel like this is probably the most hyped Call of Duty's been in a while. And since people are talking about it, people who haven't played a while are probably like, oh yeah, Call of Duty exists. I want to get Call of Duty this year. Yeah. So those numbers don't surprise me. Maybe 1 billion in 10 days. I think that number will always be surprising to a degree. Numbers like that.
You know what this makes me think? I know, again, my little wheelhouse of, but when GTA drops, bro, drops, that's going to do ridiculous numbers.
Oh, absolutely.
Mad.
Who holds the 2K record for the quickest 2K?
I believe it's GTA. I think it's GTA with GTA 5. I think that does it in like a day or something stupid, if I'm not mistaken. Just a quick 10 days. Can you imagine owning a franchise that can make you 1 billion in 10 days? 10 days, bro.
That's only on copy sold. That's not microtransactions. That's not battle passes. That's not any of that stuff. And then that's going to get even bigger with Warzone releasing. So that's crazy to think about.
Well, that's going to get even bigger with this next piece of news. Call of Duty will get a full premium release in 2023, rumored to be Modern Warfare 2 expansion. So this is big news because the rumor out there has always been that we're not getting another release of Call of Duty for another year. So 2023 was going to be the game for both years, right? And I think what people were led to believe that meant was free updates. Just constant free updates. The game was just going to get new maps and was going to get new modes and things like that, which I'm sure it's going to anyway. But it was Bloomberg, Jason Schreier, who broke this one down, if I'm not mistaken. Or let me read it all before I get into my conspiracy theories. During its Q3 2022 earning results, Activision wrote about Call of Duty heading into next year, revealing that the company has plans for, quote, the most robust Call of Duty live operation to date. The next full premium release in the blockbuster annual series and even more engaging free-to-play experiences across all platforms, end quote. However, whether this means a brand new game or a more premium price content for this year's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remains unclear. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, again, I'm sick, guys, I do apologize, addressed Activision Blizzard's wording, saying, quote, full premium release, end quote. Activision Blizzard is talking about it is a, quote, a continuation of Modern Warfare 2. It's called a full premium release because they're probably going to market it and sell it as a $70 game with a new single and multiplayer content, but it's more Modern Warfare 2, end quote. So that is the reporting we have from Jason Schreier on this one. Do you feel robbed? if you are a Call of Duty player? I know you're currently not. You're going to be. You would have made that investment. Would you feel robbed by feeling like you were getting 2 years worth of content and you end up getting 1 year's of content and having to pay for more?
I think it depends the scope of the content. I think if it's like sort of like, well, here we're going to bundle up a whole bunch of the normal game mode maps and stuff like that. If they're like, okay, we're going to give you brand new game modes, both cooperative and multiplayer in that version, and then we're going to give you a new campaign. I think there's a way they could pivot it where it's like, okay, it's enough different content that I'm fine with it, but at the same time, it's Activision, and I'm like, is Activision going to do that, or is it just going to sort of be a cash in? Yeah.
It's double fold, right? But for me, this doesn't affect me probably because by the time I probably will be done with caring about multiplayer at that point. I'll be on to Warzone, and by the time I'm on, as long as Warzone remains free to play and keeps getting updates and things like that, I'm not really going to give a crap. Usually we get our timed modes, we get new maps, you've got Verdansk. They're going to have a plan rolled out for Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, is what they're calling there. So this probably won't end up affecting me. That being said, I can see it from the point of view of players who thought they were invested in a 2-year life cycle Call of Duty, which I've got to say isn't most people. Most people don't even understand the workarounds of what we're doing. But there are a lot of people in the know, people who would listen to this podcast and such. I'd feel a little bit upset. But it is what it is, right? Business is business, and whether you agree with it or not, hopefully the content's good. I think as long as, like you said, what they're selling us, as long as what they're trying to sell us is good content, is worthy of a $70 experience again, I'm okay with it. If they half-arse it and it's so what's the campaign's like 10 hours, I've heard. So if they're doing another campaign, it needs to be another 10-hour campaign of the same level, the same quality. If you're charging me that type of price, along with the same plethora of maps, the same plethora of new weapons, the same plethora of what we've gotten already, right? That's what it needs to be.
What if it comes bundled with Modern Warfare 2? And so, like, let's say you have Modern Warfare 2, the premium edition comes out, and then you pay a cheaper price because you already have it.
I'd love
and the
that.
$70 price tag is for new people.
All of it. So, yeah, I got you. I'd love that, personally, if it's like $30. Because it's just like paying for a map pack or whatever else. Like, I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. So that'd be very smart. But we'll again, it's Activision. Let's slow down a little bit here on the smarts, okay? We can't be making promises that we can't keep out here, Crash. We're just a weekly Xbox podcast, all right? We can't be making those type of promises to people. Let's jump into the reviews, Crash. I don't know if there's any new over on your side.
There is an amended review from last week. Walker sent an update.
Okay.
Thanks for responding to my review. First off, let me apologize to Matt. I was out of line and too harsh. He does add value to MXAM. I may not agree with most things he says, and that's okay. Maybe deep down, I want him on more consistently. Glad to hear the changes like Patreon are coming. I still look forward to the show each week, so keep them coming. Here are your 5 stars, gentlemen, and long live Crush, the chosen one.
Look, you can be as critical as you want on this damn podcast, as long as you give us 5 stars. I don't give a crap what you do, all right? I appreciate you going back and rebuttaling your review. Matt has heard this because they recorded previously. Yeah, so we'll get a full Matt review next week. Again, there never is a day this podcast comes together and we don't want Matt on the podcast, or we don't want Crash on the podcast, or we don't want me on the podcast. But we live very regular lives where we all work 9 to 5s and we all do whatever it is we do. We can't always get everybody on. Matt's not even at home, and he done this podcast yesterday with Crash. He took his microphone with him. I remember those days. I don't know if you've listened to this podcast long enough. You will remember I've podcast from my sister's bedroom. I've podcast from my nan's house. We tried to podcast in Texas. Yep. We've done what we can every single goddamn week for the last 7-8 years of this podcast. Never disrespect us thinking we're not putting. Never disrespect us thinking we're not putting in the work, because we always are. I appreciate you, Rocker Dude, for going back and saying what you have to say. Again, I respect you having your say as well, and bear with us. Changes happen, but they happen slowly. Again, we're free people. three knuckleheads, to be totally honest with you, who just come together to talk about Xbox. So there you have it. We got a new one on Monday from Little Smee. Says 5-star, great podcast. Great podcast. If you are here to listen to a gold-plated product, you will be disappointed.
Accurate.
Fixer and the boys are not here to be perfect. Fixer and the boys are here to talk about video games and have fun. If having fun was an Olympic sport, these guys would be gold medalists. Fix is deep in streaming community and brings his love of playing games for others into everything he says. Kresh is way smarter than he lets on in the podcast, and every few episodes he makes a very small comment that will make you say, quote, "This guy is way smarter than I thought he was," end quote. Matt Peak, the latest addition to the team, has brought a beautiful and terrific, I don't know what that word is out here, of gaming insight to the team. He loves gaming, he loves games, he loves gaming. He loves his co-host and he loves the audience. I unsubscribe to a lot of podcasts and jump from podcast to podcast, but this podcast will have a listener to me in me as long as they keep updating the feed. From Little Smee. Little Smee, thank you very much, my son. Jesus, again, words. I'm so sick. I don't think people realize how sick I am. I'm so sick. I went to the doctors. Crush. They said I had an ear infection. Do I sound like I have an ear infection? No, Craig. There's no way this is a goddamn ear infection. They gave me this stupid spray to break. Look, I'm not getting into it. I'm not getting into it. Thank you all for your podcast reviews. Please make sure you go and review the podcast. Apple, anywhere else that has reviews. I don't care if you have to fly kick your grandma down the stairs to steal her iPad or her iPhone or a tablet or a tea, for that matter of fact. Do what's got to be done and review the goddamn podcast. What's been your box, Crash? What have you been playing this week, my friend?
I have not been playing anything this week.
Ooh.
Let down the community, and I want to apologize.
Wow. What's your excuse?
I've been playing a different game that's not on Xbox.
What have you been playing, Crash?
I've been playing God of War.
Crash, for a very special segment of what's in your PlayStation, how good is God of War? No spoilers at all.
No spoilers.
So I've not started it. I have the game. I had the day early, and I haven't had time to start it. How good is it?
It's really good. I don't know if it's as good as the last one, and I don't know how many people expected it to hit the same high as the last one. I think it's still very, very good, and it shows that Sony Santa Monica is still probably one of the best developers with a lot of the choices they make. I think it does feel a little bit sloppier than the last one, but I think that's just the nature of expanding the game and making it bigger.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. End of this week's on PlayStation segment. Thank you, Crash. Appreciate that. Fine reporting from you there on the sidelines of the PlayStation. I've got the game as well, brother. I just haven't had time to start it. It's one of those games that I know once I've started it, I'm going to want to just play it from start to finish. And also, I'm like, do I stream it? No point streaming it right now because from a smaller audience perspective, no one will watch. So it's like, maybe I give it a couple of weeks, then I stream it because the spoilers will be done for most people. So, yeah, I've been waiting.
Yeah.
I've been waiting. PlayStation provided me with my copy, not Crash, but I'm just letting you know. Hashtag sponsored by PlayStation or whatever the ad is nowadays, all right? Provided by PlayStation. I'm not talking about the game, though. I saw the start screen and took my photo.
You saw the start screen?
Like I needed to. It's like everybody else, like everyone else started doing theirs. I was like, hey, I'm one of those people. I could do that. But that's about it. That's about it.
My brother did the same thing.
Oh, really?
He installed the game. He went to like the title screen. He took a picture. He's like, I'm not going to end up playing this for like a month or two, but I got a picture of it for the socials.
Me and your brother are on the same wavelength. He wants to be an influencer. I can feel it. This week's dashboard, let's get into the news. One piece of big news that has come along. Me and Crash, this is near and dear to our heart, definitely.
Yeah.
Gears of War movie and animated series are in the works. This was tweeted out by Netflix saying, Gears of War was released 16 years ago today, and to mark the occasion, Netflix has partnered with The Correlation to adapt the Gears of War video game saga into a live-action feature film. followed by an adult animated series with the potential of more stories to follow. Crash. How are you feeling about this news?
Not great. I'm not a fan of Netflix doing the live action movie, and then Netflix's animated repertoire. A lot of people like point to their good stuff and say it's good.
Okay, what are we saying is good? What do you not like in that? So obviously we all understand that Human Resources is amazing.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
Human Resources is with the hormone monsters, right?
Oh, I've never heard of that.
You've never watched Human... Okay, Crash.
No.
Crash. I don't tell you to watch anything. I don't tell you to watch anything. Whenever I ever said to you, yo, Crash, I need you to watch this. Have I ever done that to you?
No. You've done it with a few documentaries, but that's beside the point.
But you don't like documentaries, so that's one of those ones like, that's 50-50. You have to watch Human Resources. You have to. It's about these humans, so it's about these, they're hormone monsters, right? So they're in these little kids, and that their hormones are going crazy, these teen kids, and they just, watch it. I don't want to say no more, because when I watched it, I went in blind, and I watched this show when I came out of hospital, which, Crash, 2 years ago, I almost died. Like, this week.
Time flies by.
Crazy, right? I'm still here, motherfuckers. What you gonna do about it?
What your infection stopping you now?
What? Yo, don't! It's killing me. It's killing me. Go watch Human Resources. It's so good, so good.
Okay.
Anyway, back to Gears of War, back to Netflix and their poor attempt at some animations that they've done. So go on. Castlevania is the one that people say is very good.
Castlevania is very good, but I like Castlevania is good narratively, and it has some parts where like the animation itself is good, but then it has some parts where I'm like, the animation doesn't look amazing. And that might just be because I watch anime and stuff like that, where generally animation sometimes that's their wheelhouse.
You watch what I call real anime. So what I watch is fake anime, like Human Resources and Bob's Burgers, which, don't get me wrong, amazing anime, just not quite. It's not real anime. You don't walk up to me and go, "Oh, do you watch anime?" I go, "Yeah, man. I watch Bob's Burgers."
Hey, somebody out there would be like, "Yeah, I like watching that too."
You know when someone walks up to you and goes, "What's your favorite anime?" and you go, "Family Guy." I don't think it quite hits the same, you know?
Yeah.
So I watch fake anime, you watch real anime. But I'm super concerned. Again, this is, you gotta remember, they already messed with my favorite franchise of all time. Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, yeah. They had an anime I did, Resident Evil, right?
Wasn't good.
Yeah.
But the problem with that was very clearly, I say this is all speculation. That was very clearly going to be the next animated film that they chopped up into 3 parts and made into a TV show.
Oh, okay. Do you think as a film it would work better?
I didn't watch it all. Because the way they made me watch it was it slowed down the pace of it all. And I was like, I can't even be bothered. That's when you know it's not good. If I'm watching, I refuse to. Resident Evil, I will usually sit through a lot of turd. But I just got to a point where I was just like, this is trash. The live action show they did, trash. The animated show they did, trash. They just haven't done anything good with franchises I care about, other than The Witcher, which, again, they're about to ruin.
I mean, the second season of The Witcher was not that great.
It was alright. Yeah,
but compared to the first, it was quite a step down.
I'm with you. I'll give you it, Crash. I'll give you it. But yeah.
In Netflix's defense, and I'm going to counter this defense as soon as I make it, Edgerunners and Arcane, both animated. I think Arcane's technically more 3D. I don't know. I think Arcane's 3D, but I might be wrong. The animation style for that is very unique, so I'm not too sure about that. Regardless, both of those really, really good, highly regarded, both of them. Edgerunners has a real anime studio, like probably one of the best anime studios working on it, which no surprise that ended up being good. And then Arcane has Riot behind it, and I don't think Riot really puts out a whole lot of poor quality stuff. So the question is, they have Coalition and Microsoft. How much is Coalition and Microsoft willing to put into a live action and animated series? Because it could be good, but it could also just fall flat. And I'm not super hopeful of Netflix personally.
Yeah, I don't trust Netflix. Ain't that a shame? It's such a shame that we have to sit here and be like, bro, we're finally getting live action Gears of War. Did you see Dave Bautista's tweet?
Yeah.
I don't think he's in it.
No, I don't think me and Matt discussed this literally yesterday when we recorded. Was like that could be a hey, I'm ready. Originally, he was attached to the movie because the movie's been in talks for a long time. I'm assuming Netflix picked this up and Dave Bautista found out about it. He's like, I'm just gonna tweet this out and be like, hey, I'm still available for it.
Bro, how is Dave Bautista not in this?
I don't know.
He's not in it. He's not in it. This announcement doesn't come out, and Dave Bautista then goes, hey, yo, no. He's not in it. So they're either recasting it and going, oh, we didn't know Dave Bautista cared about this, and they're going to put him in it. But right now, or when that tweet went out, he wasn't a part of this project.
Yeah. Which this could just be a case of like it recently penned deal with Netflix and whatnot, and they haven't done any sort of casting or anything like that. Because
we hope.
I don't know. I don't know how early casting happens all the time. I'd imagine sometimes casting is later in the process. They might not even have a script ready or anything like that. So I'll be hopeful of it and say that Dave Bautista hopefully ends up being in it, because it would be a little bit disappointing if he didn't.
He has to be, right? Like, there's nobody. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me. I have no expectations, but the problem was I had no expectations going into Resident Evil, and they were still underwhelmed. So yeah.
My expectation is only be decent. Like that's all I want, but that's a hard note to hit sometimes for Netflix and some of their stuff. So
all they got to do is start with the first game, though. This guy comes out of prison. Can't come through.
Yeah.
The story's there, bro. The story's there. Like,
I'm gonna be honest. For the animated series, I'd prefer if they didn't even touch the main stories, but I think they will. I think that's what they're gonna do, which is gonna be so disappointing.
I'm more nervous for the live action than I am the animated, but that could just be because I want the live action to be good. I like live action more than animated. So,
to be fair, for the animated, if they need voice actors for that, they have the voice actors. So as much as tapping the people who are already working on it.
True.
So I don't think that one's too big of a stretch to say like the baseline quality that would need, I think will be there. It's just, can they execute it? And we'll see. I hopefully never want something to be bad. Hopefully both the live action and the animated series knock it out of the park.
I like where we'll leave it there, Crash, with the, we'll see.
Yeah.
That's a nice place to leave this one. Moving on. European Commission opens in-depth investigation into Xbox and Activision Blizzard deal. And that's the day the European Commission has opened an in-depth investigation for the business proposal. According to the press release, the Commission is concerned the deal, quote, may reduce competition in the market, end quote, for video games and PCs. The Commission has until March 23rd, 2023 to make a decision. Crash.
Yep.
What do you think? What do you think?
This was to be expected. At least we have a date that this is going to happen now. I will say I am curious how sure Xbox is actually and Microsoft actually are that the deal is going to go through, because they've made the statement several times. They're like, this is going to go through. This is as expected and all this stuff. But then about a week or two ago, they started doing some stuff that I think would be uncharacteristic of that. So I'm kind of wondering if they're a little worried about this right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange one, isn't it? It's very much a, where do we stand today on this? I look at the market and I go, this is going to be bad news bears for everybody if this doesn't go through. I really do think this leaves even PlayStation in a bad spot, because at that point, even third-party market and stuff like that, I feel like Xbox are going to go, all right, let's open an investigation on PlayStation then. They've got they're the leading marketers. They have all this timed content, and I think it's going to make for bad. I think it's going to look bad across the whole industry, and I can see it being a lot of, well, he does this, well, he does that, well, he does this, and then the industry just in a proper place of like, guys, come on. So I eventually, if I had to put my money on it, I see this going through. I see it going through still. But, yeah, it's an interesting one. It really is an interesting one.
I think what best case scenario would be for like Sony and Microsoft to get what they want out of this is it goes through. Microsoft has to agree like it'll remain on PlayStation forever, which Microsoft has said is their intent anyway. Yeah, and then the European Commission is like, that's cool. It can still be on Game Pass, and that's not an issue.
Yeah,
and I think that's sort of like the most even trade you can get out of their interference. I think worst case is like, hey, you can buy Activision, but you have to leave Call of Duty behind or something like that, which
not happening.
Stuff like that can happen.
Yeah, but that's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know if Microsoft would be interested if that is the case.
Xbox are out, bro. $1 billion in 10 days. Billion. That's billion with a B, big dog. Yeah, no, that's not happening. That's not happening. Moving on. Prince of Persia remake is cancelled. Sorry, that's a lie.
Isn't cancelled.
Isn't cancelled. But Ubisoft is refunding pre-orders. Full transparency, I work at Ubisoft as a streamer on their Twitch channel. Take everything I say with a pinch of salt on this news story, I guess. Yada, yada, yada. Ubisoft have provided an update on the long-delayed Prince of Persia Sand of Times remake, reassuring fans that the game is not cancelled. In an update, Ubisoft confirmed that Sand of Times remake is still in development at Ubisoft Montreal. However, Ubisoft has started cancelling pre-orders for the game, saying since the game currently does not have a release date, existing pre-orders have been cancelled and refunded where applicable. The publisher said pre-orders may reopen once the game's new release date is announced. Ubisoft also said there are no plans to remake any other Prince of Persia title. There you have it. There you have it.
You sad?
I've never been a Prince of Persia guy. I never played it on PS2. That it wasn't a game that ever interested me. Not sure why, but just never. Can I be honest with you? I never found the case appealing. You know, like back in the day when cases were appealing, like you were like, "Yo, I'll play this game because this case." I looked at that case and was like, "Nah, I'm good." Why is this Tarzan-looking guy with a crazy sword? What's he doing? I'm not feeling that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
You don't feel the narrative.
That's where my brain was. That's where my brain was. Honestly, that's where my brain was. What about you, Sad?
No, I don't really. I think I'm somewhat in a similar boat from you. I will say this has been happening to Ubisoft quite a bit lately. Hopefully, going forward, stuff ends up being cleaner for them and they sort of have a better vision of what they were doing. But I will tell you that I don't think you'll hear Matt's opinions on this now. Matt was disappointed. He had this game pre-ordered.
Oh, wow.
So take that with what you will. If you guys want more info from Matt on that, you can ask him because he was a little disappointed about this.
I mean, I don't think there's anything to be disappointed over. It's not cancelled, as I mistaken in front there. It's just the pre-orders are being cancelled until it's in a better position. That does worry me a little bit, if I'm honest, because a company doesn't usually give back money.
Yeah, no, they don't usually. So that I do think that is. It could be a bad sign and that they realize this isn't going to be a good product, or it could be a sign of like, okay, we realize it's going to take longer and it's not going to be the product that people had originally wanted when we labeled it a remake. Because visually, it seems more like a remaster. So I think the remake title bit of it, especially after Final Fantasy and what's the other remake that is escaping my head? Resident Evil, especially after those games came out and sort of restructured the game and made them more appealing to modern generations. This sort of didn't do that, and it was a remaster. And so I think them realizing that could be why the refund happened. And hopefully that is the reason. It's like, it's not the product that we promised. And so we're just going to refund it while we delay and fix what we have to fix. Yeah.
Once it's shown again, people can then make a repurchasing decision on, is this something we want? Because then no one can come out and say, you sold me something I didn't want. It was like, well, actually we refunded you and you repurchased something that you then didn't do the research on enough to then, make an educated purchasing decision. I'd imagine. Again, who knows?
Yeah.
Next up, probably my most anticipated game for the rest of the year. The Callisto Protocol cancelled in Japan over rating board dispute. The Callisto Protocol has been completely cancelled in Japan following a dispute between developer Striker Distance Studios and the Japanese rating board. As reported by PC Gamer, Striking Distance announced on Twitter that the current version of Callisto Protocol, a particularly gory and violent horror game from Dead Space creator Glenn Schofield, cannot pass Japanese some computer entertainment rating organization in its current form, and altering the game would remove from its vision. The two sides are therefore at a standstill, as CERO won't give the game a rating before its content is changed, and Striking Distance won't change it. Neither company explained what about the game was deemed to be an issue. Well, Crash, I don't think we've had one of these in a while.
No, I'm not surprised by this.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat doesn't release in Japan because of this reason. I'd imagine it's the gory aspect of it. So whatever the kill cams are that occur, because they weren't really big on not kill cams, but the death bits where you have the unique gory death bits. I'd imagine that's the bit where they're like, we don't want to cover that.
Is Resident Evil released in Japan?
I don't know, but I don't think.
Yes, it is.
I'm
just like
the goriness of Resident Evil and the goriness of something like this. I don't think are going to be the same. Resident Evil is a gory and horror game, absolutely, but it's not gore porn, which I feel like is what they view this as. It's sort of like, here's all this gore, and it's meant to be like that is the main attraction of this game. That's not the main attraction of Resident Evil.
True.
Yeah.
It must be an altered version of the game. I'm a Resident Evil fan. I'm not like that deep a Resident Evil fan where I've played like every different version of Resident Evil and stuff like that. But I mean, this is a shame, obviously, because there's gonna be, if Resident Evil is one of the biggest games in is a huge Japanese franchise.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be fans of this game that would have loved to have played it in Japan. Obviously, I guess there are workarounds. I'm sure they will figure out those workarounds. But it just seems, I don't know, like, I don't know, it's a hard one, because unless it's like sexual and things like that, I thought we were, I've got to be honest, I thought we were beyond this, but you're telling me Mortal Kombat's not there and stuff.
Yeah, no, Japan's very big on censorship in a lot of different aspects. They censor a lot of their stuff, even like a lot of their adult entertainment type of stuff. I think almost all of it is censored, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure, but I think a majority of stuff that goes on over there is censored to a degree.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I think this comes down to just like cultural differences. I think in the West, we're much more used to like stuff being applicable, and it's like, hey, if this isn't for you, like just don't get it.
Yeah.
Where over there, they're much more like, here's the standard for what we want released in our country and stuff like that.
So my question to you is Striking Distance being making a mistake here in not being willing to change their vision on what they've created to appease to a different market? Or do you think they made the right decision by just sticking by what they've made is what they want to put out?
I think they made the right decision. I'd be shocked if Striking Distance didn't know that this was coming from the get-go.
Gotcha.
I feel like they have people who've been in the industry for a long time there. I feel like they knew this was coming. They were hoping they could probably get by with what they have, but they were like, okay, we officially got the word it's not coming. We're going to put out the statement. It's unfortunate. The people who want to play it will find a way to play it. But yeah, I think they did the right decision. I don't think if this is what they wanted the game to be, then I don't think they should compromise that.
Fair enough. Okay. Next up, Marvel's Midnight Suns Season Pass will add Deadpool, Venom, and more. Marvel Suns will be getting post-launch content and a Season Pass that adds Deadpool, Venom, Morbius, and Storm as playable characters. Though publisher 2K didn't share when the DLC packs will be released, each one is centered around one character and contains new story missions, a few new upgrades for the hub area, the Abbey, and new skins and outfits. Deadpool arrives first, and 2K has already hinted at the foul-mouthed mercenary having fourth wall breaking moments. Venom is next, and though he features as one of the main game bosses, Spider-Man's nemesis abandons his villainy to become a playable hero too. You still excited for this game, Crush?
I'm excited, but the more I see the game, the less I get excited.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea that they're selling us a season pass with all these characters this early. Like I'm sure they had a season pass planned from the moment they pitched the game. They're like, we're going to release the game. It's going to be this many characters, and then we'll have post-launch income coming as well through additional characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I will say I'm disappointed Storm's a DLC character. I would have loved for it to be in the main roster because I feel like we don't see Storm a whole lot in games in general, even outside of games from Marvel.
Yeah, it's I need to cough. I'm sorry, Crash Talk.
It's very, very disappointing. I feel like a majority of the characters that they're doing is all like big blockbuster characters, except for Morbius, who's sort of like the meme character. I wonder when they decided to add Morbius, and I'm gonna be very disappointed if at some point Morbius doesn't say it's Morbin time.
Morbius is Morbius. It's weird because Morbius is I like Morbius as a character, but after watching obviously Sony's film, it was
Morbius is a fantastic character, but that movie might have ruined the character.
Yeah, because I remember obviously Morbius in the 90s Spider-Man. That's where I was introduced to him as a character, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy's kind of cool. But yeah, it's that film has destroyed that man's stock. Morbius.
Yeah.
Not Jared Leto. They were both as bad as each other in that film, Morbius and Jared Leto. And we're going to see more of him, Crash. Can you believe it? We will see more of that character. They gotta
can all that stuff, right? They're gonna can it.
Nope. We're getting it, brother. We're getting it. There's no way
they live that much. I hope anytime we see Morbius, they just live into the meme and any sort of media from going forward. And there has to be a Morbid line every time we see it.
That would be funny. That would be funny. I'm silently optimistic about this game. I think it's actually going to end up being a decent game, but only decent. I don't think it's going to be amazing. I don't think it's going to be ridiculously good. I think it's going to be decent.
I will say, I think a lot of people's expectations for the game might ruin their perception of the game when it's launched, right? Because they've come out and said, hey, this is an XCOM, this is its own thing and all stuff like that. But you know how people are, same developer, they're going to go into it and it's like, why is permadeath not in this? Why is all these other things not in it? So hopefully people look past that, but gamers are gamers, you know?
Gamers be gamers, Crash. That'd be the best sentence you've said all week. Gamers be gamers. This job is to fix this stack. Remember, you can email them myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter with the hashtag MXAM, or you can hit us up in the Discord, which is in the description below. We'll have some news on new Discord soon. New Discord soon. Just for the My Xbox and Me audience. First up, from Duven, who says, do you think Microsoft can use the position of Activision Blizzard's ongoing problems with toxic workplace and alleged harassment to better their stance on why their buyer of Activision Blizzard would be good thing, as Microsoft has had a good history of healthy work environment? I'm going to say a big fat no. This is the conversation isn't based around Activision's poor working environments. This conversation is based around competition and is it fair and monopolization and things of that stature. I don't think the toxic behavior that happened at Activision Blizzard will not even be brought into this into any way, shape, or form. In my opinion.
Yeah. Also, Microsoft's had a history of that in the past.
Yes.
I think even earlier this year, there was stuff that came out for Microsoft. So I don't think it would also be a great thing for Microsoft to bring it up either. But either way, I don't think it would have ended up being brought up at all.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to. I don't think that's not the conversation that we're having. Not that conversation shouldn't happen, and not that conversation isn't relevant. And if Microsoft buying them secures more jobs and is better environment for people and all that stuff, that's an amazing, fantastic benefit. But that's not the conversation we're having based on should Xbox be able to buy it. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Next up comes from Original Cookie Man, who says, will Sony's complaints about Game Pass only serve to highlight the impact of their own practices, e.g., platform exclusivity contracts, unique additional content. I think this is one that we've touched on many times before. Combril, I believe is how you say his name. It appears Sony is blocking Call of Duty titles being on Xbox Game Pass for a number of years. The agreement between Activision and Sony includes restriction on the ability to place Call of Duty titles on Game Pass for a number of years. I don't think it will. Again, because I think it's a separate argument. I think the problem we have right now is, I think eventually this will be a problem. If Xbox can't buy Activision, then I believe this will come up. And it'll be, well, hold up a minute. Look at these contracts for Forspoken and Persona and whatever the game is, Final Fantasy VII Remake. We hope, one day. Look at these contracts and look at what's going on from the industry leader. I think that conversation will be opened up after the fact if Xbox don't get what they want. But right now, no, I don't think it will be used in any way, shape, or form, personally. What do you think, Gresh?
No, I think I agree with you. I also think like the main people who can like combat what PlayStation does are gaming fans on not buying the game, right? Because we've talked about it. When Marvel Avengers came out, me and you both bought it on PlayStation 4 Spider-Man, right? The decision to make it there would have been not to buy the game at all. Not even buy it on Xbox. It's not buy the game at all with that sort of system in place. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Don't buy Final Fantasy VII Remake, even when it finds its way on PC. But people find it hard to not buy something that they want on a platform that they have access to. Yeah, so it's one of those where I don't know how much something like the European Commission can actually combat that, because I don't know exactly what their jurisdiction is. But I wouldn't be surprised if at some point that conversation does happen in a very real way and some sort of decision is made somewhere that has a lot of impact. I also think the Activision deal, whether that goes through or not with Microsoft, will have some sort of impact on this as well, as far as Microsoft chasing those type of deals, because Microsoft's been very hands off with that. Like they'll get something like Contraband, which is technically a third party exclusive, but that's different. That's a completely new IP. I could see a case where Microsoft's like, okay, well, you guys are doing that. You guys blocked their deal. Well, cool. Now the next Call of Duty, maybe we couldn't buy it, but we might pay for the exclusivity, even if we end up losing money on that.
Yeah, I agree with you. We know Phil's come out and openly say he doesn't like those type of deals. But I can see a pendulum swinging the other way where it's like, can't beat them, joy them, and we've got a war chest of money. So Here we go. So yeah, I can definitely see that happening. Next question comes from a wild Jarmy. He says, Crash, Fix, and Matt. Sorry, Matt's not here. Anything you want to see in the new Digimon World game? And are you surprised to see one so soon after Survive? Crash, this is you a question, bud.
Oh, yes. Fix. Your name's there. You got any opinions?
Yeah, I'm so surprised after Survive. That was such a cultural failure. Yeah, I'm really surprised to see Digimon World come out so quickly. After that cultural failure of Survive.
That's very, very interesting. Digimon World is it's a remaster. It came out on PS3 and Vita, I'm pretty sure. So I'm not super surprised it's coming out, because it's sort of like, hey, extra money on the table, we can re-release on modern consoles.
Is this the PS1 one?
No. Digimon World. It's Digimon World New Order or something like that. That was just Digimon World. Yeah. This is the full title for this game is Digimon.
That's the only Digimon game I've ever played.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only one.
Well,
yeah,
a lot of people consider it one of the best. So
I know you wouldn't believe me, Crash, but obviously Pokemon for life. But I was into Digimon for a time there. There was a moment there that I was actually into Digimon.
I believe nothing.
Okay.
Until you stick to playing a whole Digimon game on stream, I believe nothing.
Jesus Christ, that would be a lot, Crash. That would be a lot.
I think it would kill your channel.
I mean, my channel was pretty close to dead at this point anyway. Moving on. From Original Cookie Man. What would it take for you guys to stream some short, goofy games? Surely a better outcome of a bet wouldn't be a pizza. Is Is this even a punishment, but entertainment for the My Xbox and Me community? Okay. Oh, look, the Frog Detective trilogy is on Xbox Game Pass for PC, and the first 2 parts have a better Metacritic score than Gotham Knights. Okay, I see what you're saying here. So instead of us doing pizza bets, you want us to do silly little, alright, Crash, you have to play
On stream.
For an hour. I don't hate the idea.
It'll be a discussion that has to happen.
Yeah.
I think I would dread losing this more than a pizza bet, though.
Yeah. No, I get I think I like it.
Maybe that's what it should be.
I like it. I like where your head's at. It makes sense. If it makes sense, I think we can make it work. Absolutely. Last question of the week, so make sure you email in more questions, Discord more questions, tweet more questions. We always need questions. Comes from Dovan, who says, excuse me, can we have a grounded community night, a Modern Warfare 2 community night, a multiverse night? Yes, the answer is yes to all those things. It's just finding the time to do them. I think we would all love to play Modern Warfare with you guys, or multiverses, or insert any game. Warzone's coming. I'm pretty sure Warzone with the boys is going to be a thing. I'm pretty sure Warzone, a couple 3-hour streams here and there, playing Warzone with Crash and Matt and whoever is in chat, and bringing people in and kicking people out. And there's going to be a lot more. Next year is all about community. Next year it is all about building, and we know what we've got in plan to try and do that as such. So, yeah, man, stick with us, and I promise we'll make some stuff happen. Let's plug, and get ourselves out of it, Crash. Crash, what you got to plug this week, my dude?
The My Xbox and Me YouTube page. To go drop some comments there. Leave questions. We need questions. Give us more interaction anywhere. If you watch the video on YouTube, not saying don't necessarily go out of your way, but if you happen to watch it on YouTube, just leave a like and a comment. That's all we ask.
For me, I took part in the Intel. Don't know if you saw this, Crash. Intel were hosting a competition that I was a part of, the Great PC Build Off. You can go watch it on YouTube now if you type in the Great PC Build Off. Go check it out. Go drop a comment. Leave my name in it, please. I beg of you. That is how I've always gotten more work. It's off the back of our amazing community being so interactive. We do not have the biggest community in the world. I do not have the biggest numbers in the world. But what we do have is... You ever seen that clip on TikTok where it's like, we got 3 motherfuckers that are willing to take on the world, from that comedian guy, Joey, I think his name's Joey Diaz, I think it is. Like one of Joe Rogan's guys.
Yeah.
Like he's like, to take over a country, you just need 3 bad motherfuckers. That's pretty much what I'm saying about us. You just need a community of engaged people to get anywhere in this world. And that's how I've been so lucky to be where I am right now. Go and watch it. I get loads of screen time. Go watch it. I'm not going to give the spoilers away. Go watch it. Did I win? Who knows? Who knows, Crash? Crash, did I win?
You can find out how good of a streamer Fix is.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so go watch that. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, man, until next time, we will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Keep supporting My Xbox and Me, and a goodbyes.
Bye.